Roll call, please.
Freeholder DiNicola.
Here.
Freeholder Felice.
Present.
Freeholder Gans is absent. Freeholder Sullivan.
Here.
Freeholder Tinelli.
Here.
Freeholder Zur.
Here.
Chairwoman Boss.
Here. Would you all please rise while we honor America? And may I ask Mr. Jerome Wagner to lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will you please remain standing for a moment while we observe a moment of silence? The Board of Chosen Freeholders offers its condolences to the friends and family of Christopher Birch, a Midland Park police officer who died in a tragic accident last week. We also stand in a moment of silence for Judge Misdall's son, Ryan Zapotsky, who tragically died recently. Our thoughts and our prayers are given to Judge Misdall and her family. Thank you. The Bergen County Board of Chosen Freeholders will not meet on the following days due to the summer, okay, and planned renovations, okay. We will not meet on Wednesday, July 22nd or Wednesday, July 29th. In order to give the freeholders an opportunity to meet with local community members and allow them to participate in our public meetings closer to home, I would like to announce that the Freeholder Board will be holding its next Freeholder meeting on the road. The second meeting on the road this year will be on August the 19th at 7:30 p.m. in Saddlebrook at the Saddlebrook Council Chambers. This is our first announcement on this meeting. We will, of course, have more announcements and will be advertising well in advance to alert the county and the community of this change of location for the public meeting. The 4:30 work session on that day will be held as usual in the Hackensack Caucus Room. Will the clerk please read the minutes to be accepted?
May 20th, 2015, work session, all present. June 3rd, 2015, work session, absent Freeholders Tinelli, Felice, and DiNicola. June 3rd, 2015, work session, absent Freeholders Tinelli, Felice, and DiNicola.
May I have a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. May I have a motion to open the meeting to the public?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We will now have a hearing of the general public with a 3-minute time limit in effect. The board attorney will keep the time, and when the time has expired, the attorney will tell the speaker that the time has expired. It's the summer, I'm sorry. Please fill out cards with your name, address, and the general topic so that we can keep a good flow. Okay. Now, Ann Howley? Okay.
Handouts and
I've given to the gentleman.
Powley, Ann, A-N-N-E. I live at 86 West Crescent Avenue in Mawa. I'm a Bergen County resident. I'm here tonight to ask the Freeholder Board to consider passing a resolution to oppose the Pilgrim Pipeline project. To date, over 40 resolutions opposing the project have been passed in New Jersey, and several have been passed in New York as well. And these include resolutions from the Morris, Essex, Passaic, and Union County Freeholder Boards. I feel strongly that Bergen should be among those. For those who don't know, the Pilgrim Pipeline is actually 2 parallel pipelines. It runs 178 miles between Albany, New York, and Linden, New Jersey. The pipe would carry back-end crude in one direction and refined product back up north. Pilgrim Pipeline is not a public utility. It's a private company that was formed solely to make profit from the movement of this oil. They're saying that if they can divert it from the barges into the pipeline, it'll be more profitable for them. The company has limited resources. It needs to get $1 billion in financing. It doesn't have a lot of resources should there be any spills or accidents. This is the first pipeline the company has built. They plan to outsource nearly all the elements of construction. And one of the founding partners has said that this pipeline would bring no new oil into the region at all. Furthermore, the refined products are going to be shipped north for distribution. It's not for use by New Jersey residents. The pipeline company, all pipeline companies in the U.S. further are not required to have insurance in case of leaks and spills. So it's going to be the local communities that would bear the brunt of the burden. And for those who don't know, and aren't familiar with Bakken crude, this is a very particular type of crude oil that's going to come in. It's known to be more caustic, more volatile, just a much more dangerous material than typical crude oil. Where will the pipeline be? It's going to cross 5 counties in New Jersey, 5 in New York. It goes through 30 New Jersey towns and 25 New York municipalities. It goes through several areas that are environmentally sensitive that provide drinking water. Much of the route will use existing utility rights-of-ways. Some additional tracks will be required. We were very discouraged to hear that Bergen County has already allowed Pilgrim permission to survey and MAWA. We feel this is going to help them move their project forward before all of the potential impacts have been considered. And our primary concerns are the unacceptable risk to public health, safety, and the local economy. The proposed pipeline will travel through densely populated residential areas near schools, hospitals, and businesses, and will cut through environmentally sensitive and protected areas, including the Highlands region, which provides drinking water to more than 5 million people in New Jersey. It's also going to pass through 2 EPA-designated sole source aquifers. One reason I'm here is because one of those is in Mawa. I get my drinking water from the Ramapo aquifer, and it's going to cut right through that.
3 minutes, Chairwoman.
Could you finish up with your presentation?
The Pilgrim pipeline will transport 400,000 barrels of Bakken crude each day for the next 30 to 40 years. We're not just concerned about the potential of disaster now, but for our children as well. There are studies that show that major pipelines reduce local property values. That's another significant concern for us. And if this pipeline is approved by the DEP, the Highlands Council, and the Army Corps of Engineers, it will set a dangerous precedent for future oil and gas development through our watersheds and densely populated New Jersey communities.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Is Peggy Boast?
B-O-S-T. The Pilgrim Pipeline, I'm going to talk about water. The Pilgrim Pipeline would run through some of the most imperiled areas of our state, and for that reason, these lands have already been protected by the Highlands Preservation Act. The cost of water in New Jersey is the 4th lowest in the country. State leaders justified the adoption of aggressive land use controls for the rural Highlands region first and foremost to protect the water supply for millions of New Jersey residents. The aquifers in our area are some of the most productive resources for groundwater supplies in the state. Just take the Ramapo Mountains, for example. Between the New York border and Skyline Drive in Oakland, there are about 6 to 7 miles of pipeline proposed. There are approximately 14 known streams across the pipeline ROW. Additionally, the underground springs running through the mountainous bedrock terrain in the Ramapo Mountains are probably too numerous to count. All of this water flows off the Ramapo Mountains and ultimately into the Ramapo River. A pipeline leak in the Ramapo Mountains would be a disaster for the Ramapo River and the drinking water supplies below the river, such as the Wanakee Reservoir, which is the largest surface water reservoir in the state. The township of Mawa alone has at least 5 municipal wells sited under the Wellhead Protection Program that are directly at the base of this mountain along the Ramapo River. United Water partners with the North Jersey District Water Supply Commission in the Wanakee South Project. This is a regional network of pipelines, pumping stations, and reservoirs that can provide up to 40 million gallons of water per day. It was created to provide additional resources to help during water shortages in northern New Jersey. Much of this water is created by floodwaters.
Ma'am, would you slow down a little bit because our reporter...
Oh, I'm
she
sorry,
can't
but
go
I'm trying to
that
get in the
fast.
3 minutes. But I have it all. I have copies for everyone.
Oh, great.
During droughts, numerous towns, many of them in Bergen County, draw additional supplies from these surface water resources. The regional network of water supplies designed to help during water shortages for millions of New Jersey residents is being put at risk by this pipeline. You must know better than us that if any aquifer or reservoir in the region becomes polluted, the DEP will be expected to immediately put more stringent limits on what can be drawn from other resources in the region. Counties and townships and their water supplies do not exist in a vacuum. Yes, there's a lot of money to be made through the distribution of oil. New Jersey is going to know that better than anybody else. It doesn't seem to matter that none of the financial benefits being made by this private oil transport endeavor will not be seen by New Jersey residents. Over time, substitutes can be found for oil-based energy. There are no substitutes for water. To the average New Jersey resident, our water resources are precious. There are no economically feasible alternative drinking water resources which could replace the Ramapo River Basin aquifer system. Next, my colleague Jerome Wagner is going to talk to you about the frequency, volume, and dangers of pipeline leaks. We hope that after understanding this threat, you take action to prevent it.
3 minutes.
Perfect.
Thank you.
3 minutes on the head. Mr. Wagner.
Just like we practiced it.
My name is Jerome Wagner, W-A-G-N-E-R-J-E-R-O-M-E. I reside in Wayne, New Jersey, in Passaic County. I've practiced as an environmental engineer for 30 years in an industrial setting in New York State. In that position, I oversaw over a dozen piping systems for hazardous chemicals. I also was involved in the management of oil pollution prevention programs in that position. I'm going to address pipeline leaks and some of the consequences thereof. Pipeline leaks do happen, first of all. I took the time to look at Wiki. I found a list there for pipeline incidents in the United States in the 21st century. Just in the 4.5 years since 2010, there have been 179 pipeline leaks that were listed in that source. Of those, 37 were crude oil services. Volumes released from those ranged up to 1 million gallons. One notable one that I found in that list was the July 26, 2010 Enbridge pipeline burst, which happened in Marshall, Michigan. Over 1 million gallons of crude oil ended up in the Kalamazoo River. Estimates for the cleanup cost to date are in the area of $1 billion. There are also many reports from both industry sources and governmental sources on the hazards of pipeline leaks. API, the American Petroleum Institute, has a study from 2009, and another government paper from the Congressional Research Service is dated 2013. I have citations of those in the handout that I produced for you. Based on the API study, the amount of spillage from pipelines surpasses that from barges and trains combined by orders of magnitude. Even on a normalized basis, comparing billions of gallons per barrels spilled per billion ton miles, even then pipelines stand out as a great risk relative to spillage when compared with barges and rail. And again, there are some graphics that show this in the handout. There are multiple contributors to pipeline failure. Those can include insufficient inspections. For the 2.6 million miles of pipeline in the U.S., there are only 135 federal inspectors. An additional contributor, there are no existing standards for the detection of leaks through technology at this time. Very often, it's the public which finds leaks rather than the technology, and in some cases, humans have overridden leak detectors and sensors and continued pumped flow. There are other factors.
3 minutes.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And there's much more material in the handout that I produced for you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Ken Dolsky?
I have 8 of these, and I'd like David Stewart to get one. David.
Gans?
So when you're done, if you could make sure Mr. Gans gets one. Ken Dolsky, D-O-L-S-K-Y. I'm in Parsippany, New Jersey. And I want to talk to you about trains and pipelines and whether one would replace the other. We understand certainly that a number of towns in Bergen County are very concerned about trains, and we share those concerns. However, based on the information that we've seen, we think it is very unlikely that the Pilgrim Pipeline will replace oil trains currently going through Bergen County. And you should know we are not advocating any form of oil transport over another. They all have significant problems. We only want to show that there's very little cross-elasticity between trains and pipelines. It's all in here. You got it. Between trains and pipelines because of the business issues that are involved. Scott Fallon's article in the Record stated that Bergen County has become a major transportation corridor for Bakken crude. It goes through a lot of your towns. We
If
understand
you slow
that.
down, then
They're
she
going
can
to
also
the
type whatever you
Philadelphia-
don't get a chance to finish,
Okay.
okay? So, but you can't keep up with your, so you gotta slow down a little
You're the
bit.
only place that does this, that I've seen. I think every county, never mind. So all those trains are on the way to the Philadelphia refinery. And if that's where the oil is going, and Pilgrim Pipeline is going to Linden, then the oil is not going to go onto the pipeline because the oil is going to go to Philadelphia. There was an article on post on Pilgrim's own website in April 2014 that said the pipeline will not replace the crude oil by train arriving on the East Coast, but will replace the region's current reliance on barging. So even Pilgrim is saying, although I've heard other stories from them too, that they are not expecting that they're going to replace the oil carried by trains. And the Bayway Refinery in Linden built its own rail transport here and out in the Bakken area to transport about 7.8 million gallons of oil a day to Bayway by train. They've stated they have no plans to connect with the Pilgrim Pipeline. Clearly, Phillips prefers to utilize trains and does not want oil from the Pilgrim Pipeline. It's also important to understand the business issues that drive oil purveyors to prefer trains over pipelines. Trains carry over 2/3 of Bakken oil because they are more flexible than pipelines, have built-in redundancy, and are often more cost-effective. And there's several other details which you have in your handout that I won't go into. The bottom line is that train transport has economic and operational factors of its own that make it attractive, and there may be very minimal trade-offs between trains and pipelines. The safest solution for all of us over the long term is to move to renewable energy. The second thing I want to talk about is the fallacy that Pilgrim has talked about that said that pipelines are much safer than other forms of oil transport. They said that barges spill 7 times more, and that by any statistical measure, pipelines are the safest form of petroleum transportation. If you look at page 3 of your handout, and you look at this bar chart, you'll see from a report by the Congressional Record Service that in the 2002-2007 timeframe, the orange bar on the left, in that little segment there, is the amount of oil that's spilled by pipelines. And so you can read this for yourself, but basically on a normalized basis, pipelines spill 3 to 4 times more than more than barges and rail. In fact, barges have the best safety record of all, and other than trucks, pipelines have the worst. So you can read the rest of this for yourself. There's really no reason to have this pipeline go through anybody's community. It brings us no value whatsoever. It's total risk. They will not indemnify any towns, any people, any governments, any businesses. If there's a spill, you're on your own. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Matthew Smith.
Good evening. Matthew Smith. I live at 6112 Warrens Way in Wanacue, New Jersey. And I'm here tonight to represent, as a representative of Food and Water Watch and our over 2,000 members in Bergen County who share many of the concerns that we've heard tonight about this Pilgrim Pipeline proposal. I think first and foremost, what we've heard is that the pipeline proposal presents unacceptable risks to our drinking water, which is irreplaceable, to our public health and our safety, to local property values, as well as what would be a long and disruptive construction process that would create traffic, provide barriers to local commerce, and we're being asked to accept all of these risks with really no benefits. As we've heard, the crude oil would come into New Jersey as proposed, and all of the refined products would be shipped back up to Albany for local distribution. So this does nothing to improve or provide more energy here in New Jersey. Instead, we're being asked to accept all of the risks and get none of the benefit. I think what the best way to protect Bergen County residents is to join the municipalities of Mahwah and Oakland, as well as the counties of Passaic, Morris, Essex, and Union, and both houses of the New Jersey legislature, which have already taken action by passing a resolution to oppose this ill-conceived project. What we are requesting is that the Bergen County Freeholders do the same and pass a resolution of opposition against this project. We realize that the approval system may be limited in terms of what the county freeholders get to approve or actually have a say in, but you do have a voice politically in the state, and we're asking you to weigh in on this issue and use that voice to protect our residents for all of the reasons that we've heard here tonight. In addition to taking swift action, we also are requesting a meeting between Bergen County residents as well as other representatives of our coalition against the Pilgrim Pipeline to sit down and further discuss these concerns in more detail and have some sort of dialogue to share any information that you may have or concerns that you may have. We've spent the better part of 18 months researching this project. We have a wealth of information and knowledge. We can't claim to know everything, but we think the best way to arrive at a favorable outcome would be to have a dialogue between Bergen County residents, organizational leaders, and the Freeholder Board. So we request that meeting as soon as reasonably possible. And I just want to thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you. I have to tell you that your presentation was very well executed, and I commend you. So thank you very much for taking the time to give us this information and sticking to our time schedule. Thanks very much. Okay, Jerry Cronin, is it?
Thank you.
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Jerry Cronin. C-R-O-N-I-N. J-E-R-R-Y.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm a resident of Rochelle Park. I happen to live on Rochelle Avenue, a very highly traveled thoroughfare in Bergen County. It's County Route 61. Currently, there is a major public service project disrupting traffic in town, but that's not my reason here. The reason is that this is a golden opportunity for the county to improve the curbing on this portion of Rochelle Avenue. I've been a resident of Rochelle Park for over 55 years. The curbing on Rochelle Avenue has not been touched in 55 years. I go to Paramus, it's been done. I would go to Maywood, it's been done. I go to Lodi, it's done. And even on the same road. You go through Rochelle Park, the curbing is pitiful. Now there's a safety issue. The curbing, it doesn't exist in some places, and in many places it's probably 1 or 2 inches. The recommendation is to have a height of 6 to 8 inches. This is a well-traveled road, not only by cars, but the sidewalk. It is the main route for the children going to Midland School. And if the curbing is 1 inch or 2, I think it will not impede any automobile that may want to jump a curb. I think if it's 6 or 8 inches, it'll at least impede the car's motion somewhat. So I'm looking for some address because, as I say, the window of opportunity is right now. Public service is doing the work there. The entire street will be remilled and repaved, and it would be a shame if curbing is not added to it. Yes, it is.
I was just checking to see if it's a county road.
It is, but believe me, I did check it. It's CR 61.
Right, okay.
Thank you. I thank you for your time and your effort, and I would like to be able to follow up with this with someone. If you would give me a name or an address or a person that I could see.
Sir, you can contact me.
Okay.
I'm the county administrator.
Okay.
After we have our open session, I'll provide that contact information, so we could do a follow-up conversation.
I appreciate that very much, because I think it's an issue that really gets me, and I'm just concerned about young children now. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing
Thank
that
you,
to our
Mr.
attention.
Cronin.
Thank you. Okay. James Irwin.
Do you want to give him your card?
Good evening, freeholders, residents. My name is James Irwin, E-R-W-I-N. I live at 40 Jefferson Street, Hackensack, New Jersey. Two things, I see the time is kind of short. I'm here about lives and saving lives, prolonging lives. There have been a number of pedestrian deaths in our county, and I would urge or ask, or I would ask the county administrator to look into some type of campaign via signage, via commercials, anything that we can avoid these pedestrian deaths. I know a family whose son crossed Route 4 many years ago. He passed away. I worked at the Coach House many years. People cross there often. Route 46, River Road, we just had an incident I'm sure you're aware of. But I would really like the freeholding board to look in some type of campaign, because this is serious, and there's a lot of people out here speeding, driving fast just to go to a red light, and it's causing people harm in our beautiful county. My main reason that I'm here is that I've been going to towns and asking them to raise the age to purchase tobacco and nicotine products from 19 to 21. I know that the freeholding body doesn't have the authority to make that age 21 in our county if they so chose, but I would like the freeholders' stance on it, and if the chairwoman saw it fit, if the board could vote on a resolution in support of that measure countywide, and also to put some pressure on our traveling governor to, I'm sure everyone knows that they passed a bill in one side of the legislative body, but it's not going to come to a vote in the full House. We know that. So I've been going to all the towns, as many as I can, and I have the pleasure of being in front of the freeholders this evening. I had some success in a lot of towns. It's fine if towns feel that they don't want to pass it, or I would just ask that each town vote on it. Hackensack, the town where I've lived for over 10 years, they voted it down, and it was interesting. I had the votes, and then the councilwoman resigned, and then they appointed a 24-year-old gentleman who's a smoker that started when he was in high school, chewing tobacco as a baseball player. And he's, transitioned from chewing tobacco to smoking. It was just like the perfect reason to, I thought he should have championed that effort, but he didn't. But I'm going to be continuing to go into towns in Bergen County, the county that I grew up in, the county that I love, that I talk about everywhere I go, and I would just like the freeholders to know their opinion on it, and if so, if they could take a vote on such a resolution. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Elmer.
Thank you.
Mr. Moretti.
I'm Tom Moretti from Paramus. The report I'm working on is coming well. I'm waiting for materials. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak? If not, may I have a motion to close
So
the meeting
moved.
to the
Second.
public? All in favor?
Aye.
The meeting is closed to the public. Will the clerk read the resolutions on the consent agenda?
Resolutions on the consent agenda, 738-15 to 749-15, 752-15 to 780-15, and 782-15 to 794-15.
May I have a motion to accept the resolutions on the consent agenda?
So
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Freeholder Di Nicola?
Yes.
Freeholder Felice?
Yes.
Freeholder Gans is absent. Freeholder Sullivan?
Yes.
Freeholder Tonelli?
Yes.
Freeholder Zor?
Yes.
Chairwoman Boss?
Yes. Are there any resolutions of non-consent pulled or tabled? If so, will the clerk please read?
Yes, there are. 750-15 is a resolution authorizing contract with the Greater Bergen County, or Bergen Community Action Provide Head Start programs, first option.
I just need to recuse myself on those issues.
Okay.
So,
You can just abstain.
can I just abstain, or do I need to
Yeah.
recuse?
So,
I said
I'm in
abstention.
favor.
Abstention
Abstention's fine.
is adequate.
Thank you, Counselor.
I'll make a motion on that resolution.
yes, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, roll call, please.
Freeholder DiNicola?
Yes.
Freeholder Felice?
Yes.
Freeholder Gans is absent. Freeholder Sullivan?
Yes.
Freeholder Tonelli?
Yes.
Freeholder Zor?
Abstain.
Chairwoman Boss?
Yes. We'll now go on to our.
Nope, we have one more.
We got
Two more.
another one. Okay. Sorry
No, you
about
won't.
that.
Resolution 751-15 on non-consent is a resolution authorizing contract with Greater Bergen Community Action Provide Social Services at Family Transitional Housing at 48 Passaic Street.
Okay, we have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Hold on.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Freeholder DiNicola?
Yes.
Freeholder Felice?
Yes.
Freeholder Gans is absent. Freeholder Sullivan?
Yes.
Freeholder Tonelli?
Yes.
Freeholder Zor?
Abstain.
Chairwoman Boss?
Yes. Now we.
One more?
Do you have another one? It's not on-
Sorry. One more resolution of non-consent is 781-15 is a resolution authorizing contract with various vendors, provide continuous use, what is it? Continuous of housing authority services for individuals and families who are homeless or at risk. Second option.
May I have a motion?
So
Do
moved.
I have a second? Roll call, please.
Who seconded that?
I second it.
Okay, thank you. Freeholder DiNicola?
Yes.
Freeholder Felice?
Yes.
Freeholder Gans is absent. Freeholder Sullivan?
Yes.
Freeholder Tonelli?
Yes.
Freeholder Zor?
Abstain.
Chairwoman Voss?
Yes. Now we can go to the ordinance.
Now you can go to
Okay.
And nothing's
Now go
pulled
to-
or tabled on the resolution.
Ordinances for first reading and introduction, ordinance 1515 and ordinance 1518. Will the clerk please read ordinance 1515 by title only?
An ordinance providing for various capital improvements for the Department of Administration and Finance and the clerk of the board of chosen freeholders, the superintendent of elections, commissioner of registration, surrogate court of Bergen County, the board of elections, and the superintendent of schools, by and in the county of Bergen, state of New Jersey, appropriating $4,171,380. Therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $3,962,811 bonds or notes to finance part of the the cost thereof.
May I have a motion to introduce ordinance 1515?
So moved.
Do I have a second? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Okay. Any discussion on ordinance 1515? Okay. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Freeholder DiNicola?
Yes.
Freeholder Felice?
Yes.
Freeholder Gans is absent. Freeholder Sullivan?
Yes.
Freeholder Tonelli?
Yes.
Freeholder Zor?
Yes.
Chairwoman Boss?
Yes. Ordinance 1515 passes first reading. We now go to the second ordinance for first reading and introduction, ordinance 1518. Will the clerk please read the ordinance 1518 by title only?
An ordinance establishing the revision to the speed limit along County Route number 39 and 34, known as, Schralenberg Road in the borough of Haworth, from the borough of Dumont to the borough of Gloucester border.
May I have a motion to introduce ordinance 1518?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Is there any discussion on this ordinance? Roll call, please.
Freeholder DiNicola?
Yes.
Freeholder Felice?
Yes.
Freeholder Gans is absent. Freeholder Sullivan?
Yes.
Freeholder Tonelli?
Yes.
Freeholder Zor?
Yes.
Chairwoman Boss?
Yes, ordinance 1518 passes first reading. We will now go into ordinance for the second reading and adoption. Will the clerk please read ordinance 1514?
Okay. The proof of publication of ordinance notice of public hearing was published in the record on Sunday, July 5th, 2015, and is on file in the clerk's office. A copy of the notice of hearing and ordinance number 15-14 was duly posted pursuant to NJSA 48:2-17 on Thursday, July 2nd, 2015. By title only, bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $3,200,000 for various improvements at the Bergen County Community College in and by the County of Bergen, New Jersey, and authorizing the issuance of $3,200,000 bonds or notes of the county.
I make a motion to open the public hearing on ordinance 1514.
Do I have a second?
that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, public hearing is open with a 5-minute time limit in effect. The board attorney will keep time. Does anyone wish to speak to 1514?
I make a motion to
Okay, I have a
close.
motion to
Second.
close the public hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, anyone on this board wish to discuss the ordinance?
Okay, just a clarification.
Glen Road, 1514, Glen Road.
1514.
Freeholder Sullivan and I have this as the second reading report.
Yeah, it is second.
It is second reading.
It is the second reading.
We're talking Woodcliff Lake?
Woodcliff Lake.
Is that right? All right, I thought I heard Bergen Community
Yeah,
College.
that's-
I heard that too.
That's
That's what the clerk read, I think.
Yeah.
You read the wrong title?
Yeah,
We read the
we
wrong
have
ordinance.
to, we have to go back to the beginning and
Okay.
read the proper ordinance title, and then open the meeting to the ordinance to public hearing.
Okay.
Let's see what it is here.
I have,
It's an inadvertent error.
Yes.
Inadvertently.
okay. Whoever scheduled this together. Yeah, okay.
Okay, so,
Here, Lisa.
okay, proof of publication of ordinance of public hearing was published in the Record and Material News on Sunday, July 5th, 2015, and is on file in the clerk's office. A copy of the notice of hearing and ordinance of number 15-14 was duly posted pursuant to NJSA 48:2-17 on Thursday, July 2nd, 2015. An ordinance establishing the revision to the speed limit along County Route number S-73 known as Crescent Ridge Road in the borough of Woodcliff Lake between the 1,000 feet south of Glen Road and 2,250 feet south of Glen Road.
Do I have a motion to open the public?
So moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Anyone in the public wish to speak to this ordinance? All right.
Motion to close the
Second.
public hearing.
All right, all in favor? Oh,
Aye.
we have a roll call. Oh, no, okay. Motion to adopt ordinance 1514.
I move to adopt ordinance 1514.
Does anyone?
Second. Second.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Freeholder Di Nicola.
Yes.
Freeholder Felice.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans is absent. Freeholder Sullivan.
Yes.
Freeholder Tonelli.
Yes.
Freeholder Zor.
Yes.
Chairwoman Vaz.
Yes, ordinance 1514 is adopted. Okay. Are we going to have committee reports this evening?
I make a motion to suspend committee reports.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, committee reports. There being no further business to come before this meeting today, I have a motion
So moved.
to adjourn. And a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.